Yo, here.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, awesome. I love it,
Welcome
man.
to the review of She-Hulk episode 2. Let's do this.
Let's go. You seem
Stop.
quite amped up.
I've just been to the gym. I'm feeling amped.
Same
Half-
here. I literally just came in from there, freshen up, jumped on.
Half an hour on the step machine. That stuff kills you, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I was doing everything, cardio, the whole shebang.
But yeah, like you, been to the gym, feeling pumped and stuff. We've already got a comment. A full house and on time. It's not quite a full house, but is on time, just about. He literally logged in about 10 seconds before 4 o'clock.
Well, it was still technically 3:59, so on time.
Just about. So, a short episode of She-Hulk where seemingly not a lot happened, but actually quite a bit happened.
Yep.
So, I'll tell you where I want to start off. Snicks.
All right, go ahead.
Snicks. I'm really going to have to get a co-host who actually knows about Marvel stuff. That would be really useful. So, I'm going to talk about Wolverine. Because, god damn it, Wolverine may have actually seemingly made his debut in the MCU in reference in this episode. And I am hyped for it.
Yeah, I mean, it also confirms what Mr. Cato was saying, which is that the Edward Norton version of Hulk, that was actually canon.
Yep, so yeah, that confirmed it. So this episode definitely confirmed that as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cato, wherever you are right now. He's not dead. I just want to point that out. He's somewhere. Thank you. Okay. So, Cake, I see your comment. Do not worry. But you know what I'm talking about, though, don't you? In terms of Wolverine.
Well, no.
Okay.
Explain, elaborate.
It's good to be honest. No, this is good because it allows me to explain it instead of just, just pretending you already know. So, if you remember when Jennifer was job hunting during the episode, she was going through the internet, and I prefer that. And she was like looking at stuff, and this page came up, which was a website about like 10 offbeat jobs for a fresh start. You know, like one of those list websites which are all over the internet. Can you see what's written on the right hand side of that?
Yep, in the circle bracket, man fights with metal claw in bar brawl.
Claws, plural.
Yeah, metal claws in bar brawl.
Yes. So, what does this mean? It means either Kevin Feige is trolling us, and if he is, that's bang out of order. Or it actually means, hey, there's reports coming in of a man with metal claws getting into bar fights, and who else could that be?
Exactly. Who else?
Who else could it be? It can only be our friend, Mr. James Hewitt, Mr. Logan, Mr. Wolverine, Mr. Weapon X. I'm sure he has other names. Patch.
The leather jacket with the fur and the collar. The brown leather jacket. Brown cream. I don't know what color you want to call it.
Ninja claws. I mean, we don't know what type of claws they were. I mean, surely they wouldn't put that reference. I mean, now you mention it, Cake, you've actually burst my bubble a bit, because I'm thinking, yeah, like Daredevil's going to be in it, and he does face off against a lot of ninjas who have ninja claws. But for the purpose of this podcast, we're going to...
Yeah, but that wouldn't make... You know why I have to disagree? Because ninjas move in stealth. So you wouldn't catch a ninja in a bar brawl. There would be no witnesses to actually mention that. Ninjas
Let's
don't
hope so. But once ninjas have to throw down, they will throw down. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to assume that it is Wolverine they're talking about. So, what impact does this have on the MCU?
think it has a very good impact. The fact that they're just doing them, I think this is actually a better way to actually introduce them rather than introduce everyone all together. The fact that we saw Professor X in Doctor Strange, well, a version of Professor X, and now in She-Hulk, now they're actually mentioning Wolverine in a roundabout way, then I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Black Panther 2, if there'll be some kind of reference to Storm. Maybe they'll say something like that, you know.
Some kind of reference
The
to a
woman
wind
that
goddess,
controls
to
the
a
weather.
weather goddess, someone
Yeah.
who can bring rain just by the mere wave of her hand.
Well, they'll have to use a different term. They can't use bring rain, because that when you said that just now, all that came to my mind was Spartacus, bringer of rain. So they have to say something else along those lines, though. But I think that's the best way to actually do it.
You check out your thesaurus, and if you can find any other words which reference rain, you do that. Let's not let Spartacus, curtail what should be great
A
MCU
goddess
moments.
whose mood changes the atmosphere in itself.
Yeah, okay, Byron. So yeah, I think what this kind of shows is that actually the X-Men, if this is Wolverine, and we're assuming it is, actually the X-Men have always been in the MCU. They've always been there in the background, and for some reason, or at least the mutants have always been there, not necessarily the X-Men, but mutants have always been there in the MCU. And I still maintain that Wanda is a mutant. They just haven't actually described her as one yet. So
there you go. That's a nice one, Mr. K.
Waterbringer. I like Sky Waterbringer or Giver. That's very good. So yeah, I like it. I think we're going to play into actually mutants have always been there, but for some reason or another, they've had to have kept themselves hidden from
and maybe it's since the snap, it's now been becoming more evident because maybe a lot more mutants survived as opposed to humans
have been activated, and we know that Kamala Khan is a mutant. So there is already one confirmed mutant in the MCU. So this isn't anything new. So for me, we've got Kamala Khan. I still maintain Wanda. And now look, we have Mr. Logan, and we've seen Professor X, as you mentioned, in a movie from a different universe.
Which already technically means that the rest of the X-Men is already there. It's just that he was just the only one that was part of that Illuminati. But it means they would have already been there because he won't be the only mutant in existence in that world. Yeah, so absolutely. So in that universe, the X-Men are a thing in that universe. And I think that's what Kevin Feige is doing. He's just slowly dropping hints. I don't think we're going to get any kind of real X-Men team formation until after Avengers Secret War or Kang Dynasty, sorry. But I think what this phase is going to be doing now is just dropping lots of hints about mutants and slowly putting together an X-Men team. Jason, our friend, thanks for joining. Jason, thanks for joining.
How do you feel about the possibility that actually Wolverine was referenced in She-Hulk? I'll be interested to get your views on that. My brother also points out as well, Namor, who's going to feature in the Black Panther movie. He is a mutant as well.
Yeah.
He's got little wings on his...
Yeah, he looks absolute badass from the photo that I saw of it. I was like, yep.
Again, I think for me personally, Marvel have only ever gone wrong twice with their casting. So yeah, I think again,
when did they go wrong, in your opinion?
Okay, I think they went wrong with the Ancient One, purely because they should have picked an Asian person to play that, and they even admitted, it should have been an Asian person.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And number two, I'm not a big fan of Sylvie.
Okay, there's another one then. If you want to go
on.
wrong end for casting, was the first Juggernaut.
No, man, I'm talking just strictly Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, in Marvel Cinematic. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just strictly Marvel Cinematic Universe. Those are the two. But yeah, I think Neymar's going to be another class bit of casting. So I think what we've got now is like the X-Men. Yeah, I think what we're going to get now is little hints in all the TV shows now of mutants just up and about. And I think by the time we get to Avengers Secret War and Avengers Kang Dynasty, I personally think we're going to reach a point where we'll start seeing the formation of the X-Men.
Yeah, I think they need to do it like we're saying. Do it very slowly. Do it very slowly. Get it right. In fact, they're doing a better version of what they did when they formed the Avengers. Because when they formed the Avengers, each individual Avenger, well, most of the Avenger cast members had already had. That's funny. Most of them had already had movies, and then we saw them, and then they got their movies. Like at the end of, like the end credit scene, you'd see them basically make their debut, then they get their movies and so on. Whereas in this, it's just references. Apart from Professor X, who we actually physically saw, the rest of them has just been like references so far. And yeah. I think if they continue on this path, it will be good because one, it will build the interest, and two, it means that they'll have to make sure that they get the casting spot on for the characters and also the story. And I think, you remember, I think it was about a month or so ago where you actually said to me, who would be perfect for Rogue. And I was like, who's that? And I didn't know who the person was at the time. And now I know it is Julia Gardner.
Garner,
Garner, from Ozark. And just been watching, I'm on season 3 of Ozark. And again, she really is one of the top 2 that carries that show. And I can definitely see it now because now I've seen her on there and I've actually seen her, in her real life, when she's dressed up and how she looks. She's actually very attractive where she actually can play Rogue just as our Rogue is in the comic. Because Rogue is supposed to be a Southern gal, just beautiful, powerful and strong. And I hope this time they do the right version of Rogue, the Rogue with the super strength who can fly. I think that will be much better.
Well, I'm still predicting we're going to see Rogue pop up in the Marvels movie, and we're going to see Rogue totally destroy Captain Marvel.
There's another actor.
By the way, sorry, David, just got to reference this.
Sorry.
We need Brock Lesnar as Juggernaut. No, we don't. we really don't.
Yeah, Brock's acting leaves a lot to be desired.
That's something we don't need.
He'll be good to play a Viking, but not Juggernaut.
Someone like the Mountain from Game of Thrones would be really good as Juggernaut.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress. So, just to wrap up this Wolverine bit, I just think it'll be nice now if we see a few more references to Logan. Like we've already seen Madripoor in Captain America and Falcon, where it's a place where we know that Logan hangs out as his alter ego Patch. So I'm hoping at some point we're going to revisit Madripoor and maybe see a few references to Patch. And even in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they even walk past the bar, which is the bar, I've forgotten what it's called, but it's the bar where Patch Logan regularly drinks at whenever he visits Madripoor. So maybe even from back then, they've been referencing Logan. I'm excited. This has made me.
It will only be the excitement will only be worth it if the casting again is good. I mean, you did mention one actor who you thought would be good for Wolverine.
Did I?
Yeah, didn't you mention what's his name from The Boys?
Oh God, Cole Urban.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, but also who's also put himself forward, who said he's interested in playing it is oh my God, what's his name? Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh really? Okay. Oh, maybe.
he's all right. He's earned his he's earned his stripes. He's doing well. Yeah, there's not living up.
Personally, I still want them to find the little short fella who's 5'4" and really hairy. That's I don't know if this active exists anywhere.
No, I think we've passed that in terms of the one person who would have been excellent for him was Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, 60 years
from Wolf. Oh my God, he was.
Yeah, 60 years too late.
Wolverine, but yeah,
60 years too late, unfortunately. See,
look at the comments.
Look at my comments. See, my brother's trying to direct and produce the show from his ivory tower at home.
We have to get him on the show one of these days. Okay, there's no excuse around it. You and I.
But he's not writing the agenda, even as much as he will try. So just another thing I wanted to reference quickly regarding this was, if you go back to the right-hand side, they actually reference as well Tiamat finally underneath the Wolverine article. Why is there a giant statue of a man sticking out of the ocean? Finally, they've referenced the Eternals, and why is there a big celestial sticking out of the ocean? Finally, the first reference to it in the MCU, which I am pleased about. So
that's the thing. When you're watching these shows, you have to literally watch it multiple times and look at everything, because everything is actually something. There's just nothing. Nothing they do is just on a whim. Everything is actually there for a reason. So I think, all these little Easter eggs, and it's. I mean, even though this episode was short, and I didn't realize till when I was getting into it, and then I'm seeing it's finishing, I was like, oh, that was quick. But then I thought maybe I was just enjoying it so much it was not that quick, but it was really quick. But I'd rather it be quick just like that was, and absolutely great, than it's long and dragged out and you just think, oh God, what's going on here? Yeah,
I think they've gotten the pacing of these episodes really good. I think the pacing of these episodes, it's just right, because it is quite comedic. These don't need to be long episodes.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. But again, now as Kay said, back to She-Hulk. I mean, I
we were talking about personally, but okay.
Yeah, I know. But I think personally, what I got from this episode, with the whole court case and everything else, by the time she started doing this case, she had already been the lead on this court case.
Mm-hmm.
She was already She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me believe that they were already aware of it, which is why they actually had her be the lead on that. Set up the attack because you think about it, that attack on the courtroom was like unprovoked. It's not like, she attacked the courtroom to come in there and try and break dude out of there. Like, he wasn't in cuffs or anything like that. So it literally was a ploy just to actually get her to, because in their mind, they're like, well, if she's anything like her cousin, she's going to be a hero, which means she's going to stop whatever attack that's going to happen or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. And then they basically got her fired and also blackball her. I think they personally made, just like in the industry, movie industry or whatever, where people can get someone blackballed, where every audition or every job you go for, as soon as they know it's you, oh no, sorry, unfortunately, that vacancy is full. I think they done that on purpose to drive her in a corner where she had no choice but to actually accept the only offer that she was going to get.
Yeah, I think there is an element that she has been maneuvered into this situation. I think my brother disagrees, by the way. He's this is getting quite tense.
Come on, Kane. Drop a comment and let me know why you disagree, because I just think that it was a setup, that they set her up to actually expose herself.
I think that I actually going to agree with you for once, Davian. I think you're actually making a fair point, because I think that Titania is a lot more powerful than what she let on in that fight, and we don't know why Titania felt the need to intervene.
Yeah, for no reason. She's got no interest, no vested interest in that. It seems like she was paid. She probably was paid Like, yeah, we'll pay you some money. Just come in there, just make a little mess. That's it. Don't
It
hurt
feels,
anyone.
it feels like to me that she was actually kind of pressured into that situation. Like she was pressured, she was like maneuvered into becoming an employee for GLKH.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I took, because she is, as you said, she's blackballed and nobody else wants a part of her. I think what we're seeing as well as kind of like a bit of fallout from that is that nobody's interested in Jennifer Walters anymore. Like, as a lawyer, nobody's interested in Jennifer Walters, the lawyer, anymore.
Yeah,
People
because
are
she's
only
been
interested
blackballed.
in She-Hulk, the lawyer. Even her own family, they're like, yeah, cool. Like, we've got loads of heavy stuff which needs to be brought into the house. Do you mind just hulking up and
Yeah, because she's the PC version to Hulk. You know,
bringing
Hulk.
in?
You know, come on now. You can't see them going and asking Hulk to like, yeah, Hulk, can you come and lift these water bottles and bring it in now? Hulk destroys half of cities. You know, they're not going to do that there, but because she's more tempered, you know, she's more in control of her Hulk. She's still herself. It's just that she's just bigger, stronger. That's about it. So of course you'll still treat them the same as, oh yeah, it's just her type of thing or whatever. She hasn't got no Hulk rage. You know, there's nothing that, apart from looking like a Hulk, she's still herself.
Yeah, and
well, so far.
Yeah, and I think this is going to play into her as well. I think what we're seeing is Jennifer kind of disappearing and She-Hulk becoming, like in the first episode, we saw Jennifer Walters being really adamant. No, I'm going to stay Jennifer Walters as much as possible. I'm hardly going to be the She-Hulk. And now suddenly she has to be the She-Hulk when she's representing her clients. The tech firm would have to have serious tea. I mean, to be fair, I think that tech firm might be linked to Roxxon Oil. We'll see. The reference to family is significant. And you're right. I think, let's talk about that then. We see actually Jennifer's family, which is obviously Bruce's family as well, kind of having a family dinner together. And we see dynamics there. We meet cousin Ched. Ched's an idiot.
I wouldn't say that. I'd just say he's just.
I mean, I imagine you'd probably get along with him great.
Yeah,
but
he's just different.
Ched's an idiot.
No, he's
Ched just got promoted
special.
to supervisor at Best Buy, and he's really proud. Ched's an idiot.
No, didn't he say he's manager?
Yeah, supervisor, manager, whatever.
Manager. See, that's the thing. You're disrespecting the man's title, yeah?
Yeah.
When you go in there and say, I want to speak to a manager, you're the supervisor. Actually, sir, he reminds me of...
It's going to be like your friend from Prague at McDonald's, which we won't get into now because nobody will know the reference.
That's what I was going to say. I could see him now.
Yeah,
I could see him now with the shirt, one part of the shirt hanging out of the...
Nobody knows the reference. Nobody knows the reference. Cousin Ched, but supposed to be a genius. I think when in episode 1, when Bruce and Jennifer were talking about Ched being a genius, I think they were joking. I think they were kind of ripping the piss out of him a little bit, talking about Ched being a genius.
You see, you're hating on the man's geniusness.
Yeah? I mean, I am. Jennifer is. Bruce is.
Well, come on now. How else would he become a manager? You think anyone can be a manager at Best Buy or McDonald's?
Yes, I do actually. Having seen what we've seen the managers of McDonald's in Prague, yes, I do. And one day we'll tell that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think what we're going to see is a lot more family dynamics. I think this dovetails nicely, actually. Thank you, Kay. So a scene we see in this episode at the end is Bruce is on the Sakarian ship on his way to, I'm assuming, Sakaar. Could he be going to meet his son, Scar?
I didn't know Bruce had a son.
So in the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk stories and that stuff. Was it World War Hulk? Was it Planet Hulk? Anyway, one of those stories. He Incredible Hulk has a baby, and he meets a lady, and whatever happens between a man and a lady happens. And the planet he's on gets destroyed. But his son, Scar, is in a cocoon. and he's basically in the cocoon, helps him survive the explosion, and he emerges from the cocoon like in near enough adult form. And as you can imagine, it's pretty damn powerful. So
is it Bruce's son or is it Hulk's?
Hulk's son.
So okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that Bruce probably, or Smart Hulk, or Smug Hulk, had no recollection of this because the jiggity happened whilst he was in Hulk form, and Bruce has no recollection of that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, is it
Yeah.
Hulk or Bruce? It's Hulk.
Yeah. So I think now, so I reckon they've come to Bruce and been like, "Dude, you've got a kid," and it's like, "No, you've got a kid," and because Hulk sowed them seeds, not him, he doesn't know about the kid, but now he's going to have to travel back and meet the kid, and maybe even bring the kid to Earth. And as my brother says here, God, you actually timing these comments really well. Okay, well done. Jen, meet your nephew Scar. Take care of him. Yeah, like what if he actually brings him back earlier to help in the final battle, and Scar has to help his Aunt Jen to win a final battle? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, it would be actually, especially now with all this going on, it would be interesting if actually Hulk got a little series, so we could see, all these missing bits, all these intricate stories and things that we don't know what may have happened.
Yeah,
could find out or whatever. Could have some interesting flashback with maybe Iron Man making an appearance to see when him and Tony built, when he got that apartment that Tony gave him, and the bar that had his and Tony's initial.
Mm-hmm.
To see like what exactly went on, which could possibly lead to more Easter egg as to what's to come.
Yeah, so as my brother says, there were loads of Easter eggs in the law firm. I'd even walked past the office, which is full of comics. So we know within like the MCU, they're actually writing comic books now about the Marvel heroes, as they do actually in the 80s comics as well. There's actually a Marvel comics company within the Marvel universe in the comics.
Yeah.
Very better, very confusing. Just an update. Liverpool are now beating Bournemouth 7-0. Just wanted to just put that in there. So quite a few QR codes. Yeah, you're right. So I was talking to Dowdy yesterday. In fact, you were in the group chat, and Dowdy suggested they might do an Agents of Smash kind of story. Now, for people who are aware, Agents of Smash isn't some kind of lurid, dirty kind of Razzers reference of a channel. It's actually a team made up of all the different Hulks. So when you're talking about a TV series, Davian, I think potentially they could do an Agents of Smash style TV series, maybe like a little 4-parter, which features like all the different Hulks, like Incredible Hulk, She-Hulk, Scar, Red Hulk.
But Red Hulk is Bruce, isn't it? Still Bruce.
Red Hulk is Thunderbolt Ross.
Well, what's the other Hulk that Bruce turns into?
So Bruce also turns into a Grey Hulk called Mr. Fix.
Yeah, and ain't it 2 other Hulk he can turn into?
There are other Hulks he can turn into, but the main ones are Green Hulk and Mr. Fix-It. Is there a Red Hulk version of Hulk? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. Again, my kind of knowledge of the...
in the remember back in the day in the animated series when X-Men was on, it wasn't just Grey Hulk he turned into. I think he had 2. So he had the normal Green Hulk, Red, and I think Mr. Fix-It more like a private detective.
Yeah, he's a fixer. He goes in and he fixes problems.
Didn't he have like a trench coat?
Yeah, trench coat, a little trilby hat.
Yeah, see, oh my god,
a little pimp cane. Had it all going on. Davian, so you've just started a new job. When you started, did they give you a map of where the best toilet in the office is to poop?
No, because we only have one toilet.
So that's unfortunate. Well, it was good that Jennifer, during her orientation of the office, was actually given a map specifically to tell her which one is the best office to poop in.
Yeah, I think maybe they probably did that for her specifically because of her.
No. This is a thing.
Factor.
Like, I've got colleagues at work, and they've got like specific toilets in the office, like in the building, which they'll go to drop logs. It's like out of the way of the rest of the like offices and stuff like that, and it'd be
So
like way in a
it's
corner or something.
soundproof and
Yeah, basically, like nobody else can hear it, nobody else can smell it. Yeah, nobody else sees you leaving that toilet as well. So nobody knows what you've been up to for the past like 5 or 10 minutes. This is a proper work thing.
Oh my god.
I never got a gift. My brother's saying he never got a gift basket on the first day. I never got a gift basket. My first day as a Vayman. Do you know what I had to do my first day? I had to create the channel. I had to do loads of emails. Then the other 3 had to email them stuff. Only Davey listened to me and actually done the stuff which I asked him to.
Yeah, that was halfway across the globe. That's why I couldn't help.
The other 2 are just like. So yeah, I've had worse first days. So just a bit of Vayman politics there. Right. So Jennifer She-Hulk is now working for GLKH, and she goes to visit Emil Blonsky. And did you get a map? No. I mean, I've only got one toilet in this house. Don't need a map. The house is my office. So yeah, he meets Emil Blonsky, and Emil Blonsky's like giving her this line about how she's semi-true, what he's saying. Oh, it was the American government, they souped me up and I thought I was doing what was best for the government, which is true to an extent.
He's not making anything up. Literally everything he says, it goes right back to like what I've always mentioned, where certain people do certain things and they get treated as hero, like Captain America, how he breaks certain rules in terms of like with the whole time variant and how he does things which he shouldn't. Other people like Loki gets punished, he gets a pass. It's the same thing with this. He was an actual government agent, military, that they actually called in to go and deal with Hulk. He got smashed up. They put in all kind of experimental drugs, super soldier serum, like he says, in him, which altered his behavior and his mindset. And then when he turns into an abomination and can't control what he became, basically they're like, well, they just wash their hands of it and like, yes, you're a terrorist.
I mean, he's only semi-telling the truth, though. He's like, there's bits he's leaving out about how he started to take more of Bruce's blood himself.
Yeah, but
he's not being 100% honest in this. He's only talking about the points that give him sympathy, but he's not telling Jennifer about the other things he did.
Yeah, but think about it. Maybe it's a case that when he took it, it's kind of like an addiction. So then he just needed more. And with most people, when they get power, they want more and they want more and they want more. And then at the end of the day, it shows that he's a good guy and he's a caring guy because
come on, he's not a good guy. He's not a caring guy.
Manny, he's got seven love of his life.
No, he's got 7 pen pals. Again, you've got a one-track mind. Just because somebody's got pen pals doesn't mean they want to sleep with them.
No, I never. Where did that come into play? I never said that.
You said love of your lives, dude. I know you. I know how your brain works. And actually, and you hardly ever think with your brain. You think with another part of your anatomy.
My mind, my soul.
That's not anatomy, but it's okay. We'll I'm not giving you a biology lesson because I know what you'll try and turn it into.
Folks, don't listen to him. That's not true. I'm all about the brain.
Do you know something? 2 years of podcasts, I think we've determined that's definitely not true. At least he can write letters out. So yeah, Emil kind of gives Jennifer this kind of sob story. But then we find that actually, with the help of Wong, Wong actually helped break Abomination out of prison to go to the fighting competition in Shang-Chi without the permission of the American government. Wong's doing his own thing.
But then technically that's not on him. he didn't break out. If someone, he was technically kidnapped. He was technically kidnapped because if you're in prison, you've got no way of getting out, and someone comes in with a magic portal, takes you out to then go and get physically assaulted, which is what happened. He was there defending himself.
You should go and be a spin doctor for a Tory politician.
Wait, hang on. Was he getting paid for that? They were getting paid. People are making bets to watch him fight. He had no say in that. But one was basically saying he was trying to teach him to help, rehabilitate him and his anger, which obviously worked because now he's back in human form.
Wong is now a kidnapper. Okay. Right. So Wong has kidnapped Abomination, apparently, or whatever bollocks reasoning Davey's given.
Wait, unless you're saying Wong is one of the 7 pen pals, because that's the only way they would have had contact. Because how else would Wong, unless Wong purposely knew what he was doing?
Let's get into this. Let's talk about these 7 pen pals.
Oh my god! And Kay said the same thing. What I just said.
Let's get to 7 pen pals. I'm going to give theories right now as to who I think these 7 pen pals are going to be and how it's all linked into Thunderbolts. Boom. Okay. I think these are the pen pals. I think it's Wong.
I don't think it's all of them. I think it's probably some of them and there's other people. Because I can't exactly, I can't see the 2, what's her name? Black Widow's sister being a pen pal.
Hey, maybe Abomination made the first move, okay? So, I think when he says pen pals, I think for some reason Wong has gone dark. Not dark as in kind of he's gone evil, but I think Wong is starting to identify that maybe there are certain threats in the universe where being kind of the old school good guy isn't going to work, and he needs to like have a darker team which is willing to do things which kind of blur the line between good and bad. And maybe him and Val might be like, yeah, I think I agree. Maybe we can do this together. So, and again, this doesn't necessarily mean Thunderbolts. I'm just saying pen pals.
Yeah, I can actually see your point with Wong. I think it's a case where Wong look at it like, well, let's be realistic. The government has never been transparent when it comes to them doing certain things, because the fact that the government is creating literally that, in a way, they're like what, Dark Avengers with the US agent and all of that. And he sees how the government treats people who they basically frontlined as hero, and then when they didn't live up to the expectation, basically they were just gonna tarnish their whole life and reputation and basically throw them away, because that's exactly what happened with Captain America, who became US agent. He got thrusted in that spotlight with the whole pressure of, do this for your country, you're the right guy. Not telling him what all the pressure and everything else that comes with it, and everything you're going to do is going to be under a microscope. And yeah, he's human. Things happen, like he lost his best friend. He reacted, he did certain things. And then basically he just gets punished like a regular criminal. They didn't look at all the other parts to it, that you've just thrown someone. At least Steve Rogers had a little while to get used to being who he was. There was no social media. There weren't people walking around with phones everywhere, like spotting your every move, and everything you do was under scrutiny. Back then it was a lot more relaxed in terms of you could do certain things and there weren't that much repercussions, where if the tables had turned, he would have been okay as Captain America back in Steve Rogers' days, because there was a lot more leeway to do certain things, whereas Steve Rogers would probably be better suited as Captain America in this day and age as opposed to he was, because Steve Rogers always had restraint about himself, whereas this guy didn't. So I think Wong has looked at it and said, you know what? The bad guys ain't playing by the rules, and the good guys, aka like the government, they're not really playing by the rules. They're making things up as they go along. So the only way we're going to have a chance is I have to basically just do things that I see is best, as long as I get the job done within reason. So I think there'll be more anti-heroes as opposed to just completely dark. So they'll do what they need to do, but there'll still be a level of responsibility and accountability.
Yeah, so as Daddy says, is Wong is Sorcerer Supreme. He does not need to ask or let the government know what he's doing. Absolutely. Wong answers a higher power, the Book of Ashanti.
So there you go. So that goes right back to what I said about him kidnapping Abomination.
Hey, Wong still has some kind of moral fiber core. And I'm not saying Wong's gone evil.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I'm saying
Wong
he kidnap him.
Looking to just cross a few lines, which maybe he should think twice about crossing. Titania. Just think Titania is a face I should have put on here instead of Ghost or Taskmaster. Now you say it. Of course, Titania is a pen pal for Abomination. That makes perfect sense because she's a super influencer, as is mentioned in the episode. Right. So, discuss Wong. My other theory is Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo is the leader of the Thunderbolts. I could see Baron Zemo kind of acting as kind of like a
got
catfished. that would actually be a funny episode.
Maybe it's Abomination that got catfish.
That would be a funny episode of Catfish. Yeah, one way or the other, someone got catfished. Baron Zemo, in the comics, he's the leader of the Thunderbolts. Why wouldn't Baron Zemo be like communicating with Abomination, being like, dude, we've both, Zemo's like,
been screwed over by the government.
In the hands of superheroes. You try to become a superhero, and now look how they're treating you.
No, you tried to stop a superhero, and look what they done to you.
Yeah,
the same hero that you tried to stop.
You tried to become a superhero to stop the Hulk, because in his mind, the Hulk was the bad guy and whatnot. And now look what's happened. Now you're in prison. So that's a good way Zemo could kind of manipulate Abomination to build up a friendship. Oh, 8-0. Ghost, I think from Ant-Man 2 is a possibility. I think Val is another possibility for a pen pal because she is building a team. Maybe she's
100%. She's definitely part of that. Where
yep. Now Yelena is an interesting one because Natasha had a special relationship with Bruce. Are we going to see like?
Very good.
Yeah. So Yelena being Natasha's stepsister, could they kind of manifest some kind of? I don't mean like a romantic level, but maybe Yelena, like a little sister, has a calming effect on Emil Blonsky, or sings Abomination little lullabies. I'm just saying from a story arc point of view, that could be quite interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, at least with Black Widow, her and Bruce's relationship wasn't just platonic. I think there was something there. It just never got explored because every time they were around each other, it's always they're trying to save the world from this and that. So they never got time to explore. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened, in that 7-year blip, after the snap with them. As opposed, like with Tony, how we saw Tony end up to have a family. We don't know how that came about, but it happened. Whereas you saw more dynamic between Black Widow and Bruce.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's possible. I don't think Flag Smasher's dead. I think Flag Smasher's going to come back. I think Flag Smasher will very much buy into this kind of narrative about superheroes need to be dealt with in a different way, and superhuman threats need to be dealt with in a different way. My brother says Taskmaster is dead. Yeah, Taskmaster seemingly does die in the movies, but there are rumors that the MCU want to bring in a second Taskmaster, which is more kind of familiar to the comic version of Taskmaster. And Taskmaster does play a role in the Thunderbolts as well. So those are my 7 predictions. But you're right, I should have taken Ghost out. I should have put into Titania in there. Have you got any other ideas for pen pals?
No, I think that sums it up really. I think
Sure.
literally that's their bit. This is just like their Dark Avengers that they're bringing, and they want all the different parts. They want everyone that can literally match in terms of ability and skill, similar abilities and skills, just like the Avengers. So I think it would be interesting to see who they're going to get for their version of like a Scarlet Witch.
Yep. Sorry, Liverpool now scored 9 goals against Bournemouth. Just thought I'd share that. So I think we've actually covered most of the episode. I think it's great. I think, do you know something? I think Tatiana Maslany is going to end up becoming a Hollywood star off the back of this. She is absolutely fantastic as Jennifer Walters, and once again, another amazing piece of casting by the Marvel and Disney guys.
Yeah. Speaking of casting, you know who, just like I what's his name? My God, Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. How people were saying to him, "Oh, you'd be the perfect T'Challa for Black Panther," before it happened. There's been talks where people are saying about Method Man playing Bishop.
Oh, that'd be interesting. But
I mean, he's a comic book head, just like he's really into comic as well, and he's now, he's no longer skinny like back in the day. Method Man is gone hench. He's been pumping iron. He literally he has got the physique now to actually play a Bishop.
Yep.
And he's got the acting ability now. He's doing a lot more roles, and he's taking acting a lot more serious, and he's definitely in his craft. I think that might be interesting. So should that time come, let's go.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, going back on track, Tatiana Maslany absolutely smashing it as She-Hulk. Yeah, I knew she was a great bit of casting, and it's been proven. Again, I'm going to say this every episode and every review we do. Go and watch Orphan Black. It's a great TV series. She smashes it out of the park. The only scene
I'll check it out when I finish Ozark.
The only scene I would avoid from Orphan Black is there's this scene where all the different sisters are dancing together. It's well cringy. Don't watch that part. But the rest of it, absolutely amazing. So yeah, let's wrap things up. What are we going to see in the next episode? I think we're going to see more of this plot which Abomination is involved in. Maybe some more Thunderbolts references. I think Wong is actually going to turn up in the next episode. I have a feeling. Because he's in the trailers. So I think we'll see Wong turn up, and I think Wong's going to explain a lot of stuff which is going on. What do you think?
Maybe we'll see, Zemo, one of those guys, make an appearance at some point, which will then confirm what, where the story is going to go next in terms of with Abomination. Because I mean, it's interesting how did he learn to control himself to actually be able to change back? Could Wong have been working with him a lot longer than we are aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think hopefully all these things will be answered. Yeah, it's been great. Cool. I think we've discussed everything. I don't think we've missed anything out. I mean,
no, we haven't missed anything else.
I mean, we've discussed the most important thing, which was the map to the best toilet to poop in.
That's soundproof.
Yeah, these things are important. Right. Is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
The only thing I want to say, obviously, we know it's a bank holiday this weekend, isn't it? So for all our viewers, all our subscribers, anyone who's going out for these carnival and stuff, just be careful. Enjoy yourselves, but be careful. And stay safe. And that's it, really. See y'all next week.
Okay, Grandad.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, next week we'll probably do the stream on Friday night
Yeah, that's fine by me.
because Davian, where are myself, yourself, and Mr. Cater going on Saturday?
We are going to Shoreditch.
What are we going to do?
We are going to eat wings, mac and cheese, chips, and talk wrestling.
We're not just going to talk wrestling.
We're going to watch wrestling.
Yeah, we're going to Shoreditch to watch wrestling.
But we won't be wrestling. No.
UK WWE event in Cardiff. We're going to go and actually watch it live in a bar in Shoreditch. It's going to be very fun. Being put on by the Wrestle Talk guys. So it should be very cool. Right. Bye, everyone.